All right. This is it. Podcast number 2, guys. Welcome. We have a guest here. I'll bring her on in a second. She's making fun of me, so you can probably already tell who she is. Anyways, I've made a podcast in between now and then, but I just haven't posted it because I'm not satisfied with it, because it's a pretty heavy topic. So I'm probably going to redo it with even further of an extent. I'll give you a quick little flash there. I don't want to show what all we have planned for the podcast, but I have a cheat sheet for the one that I filmed before this. And I also got my wisdom teeth taken out, so I haven't been able to talk for about a week and a half. And today's the first day I'm feeling up to the challenge. Not including I've been extremely busy with Empire stuff, business, and that will roll into what I'm going to talk about today, which is my transition / glow up from how I went to sports to business and how that looked for me, what to expect if you're making a big move in your life, a big change. And so it'll be good to listen. So let's bring in our guest, Allison, so she can get off her phone. This is Allison. Here, you can sit here. We don't have a big enough chair yet. Here, you want to go find a chair and pull it up or something in the storage room? Thank you. Sure. So while she's getting a chair, we're still filling in. I have a backdrop right here. We're in my little podcast studio, just an extra room I had in my house that I decided to change into a studio. So it's kind of small right now. About a foot off of where my hands end is where the backdrop ends. So I want to extend the backdrop and add a couch, add some fancy microphones. I got this little guy right here, but besides that, I want to just triple check and make sure that this podcast studio is on fire. Kind of just rambling on so that Allie can hurry up. Anyways, like I was saying, my other podcast, pretty heavy, pretty deep. Not sure if I wanted to get into that quite yet. It was a huge banger. It was a good podcast, but I'm not sure if I'm satisfied with it completely, with where I want it to turn out. And so, there she is. She's back. Like I said, if you got any big changes coming up in your life, then maybe you can take a couple things from what I'm going to say in this one. And I'm going to do a quick check real quick, make sure Allie's in frame. And she is, just barely. So, anyways, guys, I brought Allie here because, for one, she's hanging out with me today, and for two, we've been dating for like 7 months, or about a week past that mark. So, as you can see, she's camera shy, just like Jasper.
No.
She hasn't grown up a McGee in front of a bunch of cameras.
Has not been 7 months in 1 yeah, I don't know how it's been.
Has been 7 months, 1 week, 5 hours and 26 minutes and 39 seconds. But
I think we're about to 8 months, 2 weeks.
Oh, it's been a long time past that. So I'm not a good boyfriend. We can take that away. But yeah, let's just roll right in. Allie's going to be a good outsider perspective of the storyline and what happened, and she'll be able to tell the story just as good as me because she was there for it the whole time. So let's get started with bottom of the barrel. It's probably going to be a boring story, whatever. This is more for me than you. This was little kid Marshall, okay? Imagine this, okay? Just sitting in my room. iPad started coming out around my age. And that's all I would do all day long is watch an iPad. And so I kind of grew up a little nerdy. And then I started going out in the woods and building forts, being creative. And that will lead into kind of the last of my story here. But It all started with sports. All of my family members, except a few, have done sports, and a lot of them. So I kind of just grew up in the realm of doing sports. And I did football, track, and wrestling all in the same year. That was quite a bit, and that was a lot. And that was also around the time Corona hit, and so sports slowly started fading out for me. First, I quit wrestling to focus on football. And so around the Corona time, all I could do was work out. So I worked out twice a day, and I was actually getting pretty big, pretty strong. I don't know if you're familiar with lifts, but I got 225 with bench. And for a 16-year-old, just turning 16-year-old back then at least, that was pretty decent. And then I had a decent squat and stuff, but who cares about that? Upper body only, you know what I mean?
You have a white thing on your nose.
Where? Is it a booger?
No, you got it off now.
Okay.
Doesn't bother me.
Okay. So, I did 3 sports, quit wrestling. I was doing football and track. Here's where it starts getting interesting, okay? I was the absolute star player. No, I'm kidding. Zero chance. I was horrible freshman year. Getting a little bit better, but still horrible sophomore year. And then about that off season, I started getting pretty good. Started training with my buddies every single day from like 3 to 6. Even in the winter time, it was very cold. But that's all I would do. Work out twice a day, do football in the afternoon. And so my mind was football only. Zero money, zero anything. Football only. That was my life. And I thought, just like every football player, that they're going to make it to the next level. And then I started getting good enough that my coaches were telling me that I'd be varsity for junior year, and that's what I'm in right now is junior year. Then let's roll over to track. Track was also pretty good. I did pretty good for hurdles, and up until my last race before what is it, districts?
I don't know, sectionals, districts, something like that.
It's either sectionals or districts,
The one
whichever
that you
one.
the one that you have to qualify for.
Yeah, the one right before
New one.
state. So I was racing for that meet, and I was doing pretty good. My track coaches were hyping me up. We had a pretty good trainer as well. I'm actually getting a call from my mom. All right, we're back. Sorry, we just had a cut. We actually had a Christmas party with our church that we didn't know about. So we got a call, and then we ended the pod, and then we're back now anyways. Let's continue the story. So I believe we were talking about track and where I was. I was racing for competing in the track meet before state. I forget the ranking. I haven't done this sports thing in a while. I think it's conference, then districts, then sectionals, then state, if that's correct. But I was in one of those a little bit before state, and I tripped and fell on the second to last hurdle, which ended that season quickly.
Pushed over and got disqualified.
And then I got mad and pushed over the last hurdle, and that gave me a disqualification. But I was DQ'd either way from it because I fell. So I don't know what the ref was trying to get at me for. He can suck it. But well, yeah, that kind of sucked because I was racing against kind of the top guys. So I was pushing myself. I was doing pretty good. So you have to get top 4 for those. And I thought I could do it, and I was the 4th place, and then I tripped, and then obviously everyone passed me, and then I lost the race, but then I pushed over the hurdles, and then I got DQ'd completely, and they took my name off of it. It was sad but funny to watch. Anyways, that was the end of track, and then football season this year started. I went to 2 weeks of football, and I went out to Utah, and we had a huge family reunion with my cousins down in Utah. Damon Swank. You may or may not know him. He's my favorite cousin. He's a legend, and he's the man behind the scenes with all of the M Empire stuff. But anyways, we had a huge family reunion out there, and we rented out a huge log cabin. It was awesome. Everyone pitched in. There was like 50 people there. I have a huge family. And I was just sitting there looking at this mansion of a log cabin that we got to stay in for 3 days that we rented out. And I was looking at it, and then I was looking down at myself, and then I was looking back at it, and it sounds like a freaking dramatic scene, but I did realize that there was going to be a huge transition in my life. And there I kind of decided that I didn't want to do sports. And actually, the first day that I was there, I was still training for football. I was going on mile-long jogs, doing a bunch of push-ups, sit-ups, you know, what all the guys do these days. And then that's the second or third day, I forget which one, was whenever I looked up at that mansion of a log cabin and realized that I wanted that to be my house. Not just a rental house, you know, like I wanted to work hard enough that I could afford a house that big. It's probably like $3, $4, maybe $6 million house, log cabin. Had a huge pool in it, big hot tub. The house was huge, 2 floors. It was like 10 to 15 rooms. It bed 275 people. Massive mansion of a log cabin, all the way out in the middle of Utah. Anyways, that's besides the point. I just know that I wanted that instead of, you know, being cool, being on the football team, whatever. And the couple weeks before we went to that log cabin, beginning of football season, this season, it was summertime. I went to like 10 football practices, and I was training really hard. All my coaches told me that if I kept it up, I'd be on varsity, and I've been fighting for varsity the 3 years. And I finally got to a point where I was one of the top guys, at least that I think, and I would have been varsity. My coach told me I would have been varsity. And so I got,
brag or anything.
Not to brag, I'm the crap, basically, but probably wouldn't have been starting, but I would have at least made varsity, which was the thing that I've been fighting for the 3 years. So the second I get good at track, you know, I fall. The second I get good at wrestling, I quit. And wrestling, I will say I'm pretty good at. You know, other things I'll be more humble. Wrestling, that's my sport. I love wrestling. I'd probably get destroyed now. I haven't done it in years. But whenever I did do it, it was a lot of fun, and I progressed pretty good. And I was on JV, junior varsity, but I won second place for the conference.
Did you do it freshman year?
Yeah, only freshman year. And it was like the state for JV, and I got second place. So I like lost all my matches at the beginning of the year, and then at the end I had like a winning streak. But I quit that sport. Track, I'm still debating on doing track, honestly, but I probably can't because of my grades. But so track's probably not going to be done. Then football, I for sure quit. And so the second I get good at all these sports, I quit, you know, and that's whenever people are like, Marshall, that's a pretty stupid idea. You know, a lot of family members, all my family members are supportive, obviously, but they also want to put some sense in my little brain and tell me that I might as well stick with something I'm good at. But that's not really how I roll. I kind of like learning a bunch of new skills. So the second I get good at one thing, I usually quit it and find something I'm horrible at and then build my skills up. There's a couple things I'm good at and I stick with them, but for the most part, I haven't been doing sports. So after that log cabin, like I was saying, was that big switch from all sports, jockey, went to school just like every normal kid. And so I go to early morning church Monday through Friday. I still do that. But I went from church to school to sports, and I'd get home around 5 or 6 o'clock at night, having zero free time. So I went from that to where I am now. And here's where that story begins. So with COVID, they allow you to do online school. So obviously I chose that for this year. I wanted nothing to do with school. I hate masks. I'm all against that stuff. and I am 0% scared of being canceled for it. But no, I'm against masks. I actually have been wearing a mask a couple last days because I've been spray painting a trailer, but that's about the only time you'll catch me loyally wearing a mask.
So you don't die.
So I don't die. That's besides the point. Obviously, Corona's a big deal. I know a couple people that died from it, but the whole mask thing, it makes me feel like I can't breathe. I hate it. I feel like it takes away my freedom, my security. I feel like it takes away the alpha in you, and you're just, there's nothing you can do. You feel like an idiot every time someone tells you to put your mask on. Anyways, completely dropped school. I did online school, and I'm currently doing online school, but I don't really do it. At the beginning of online school, I tried to pay people to do my work, and a lot of people know about it. A lot of people don't. So if you're finding out, that's dope. Yes, I tried to pay someone to do my high school work, and it didn't work out. They ended up getting caught, and then I ended up getting caught, but I don't care. So that happened.
Get me to do it, but I'm not smart.
No, but
I don't know crap about geometry.
anyways, I have people do my schoolwork now, but they're not paid because they're family members and they love me. Don't want to say who, but I do not do school anymore. Anyways, through Kickapoo though, which is my school that I go to, they allow you to do middle college, which is what I do. And through middle college, you can pick whatever you want, but I chose engine repair, brake repairs, electrical repairs, so automotive tech, that's what the whole name is. And so from 8 to like 10 something, I just work on cars all day with my school buddies down at college. I go to OTC, if you're familiar with it, but it's a pretty nice place. So that's about all the school I do, and it's working on cars. So it's not freaking stupid math or English or anything like that. And I'm all for the smart kids that want to do that and want to do college and want to be a doctor, lawyer, whatever it takes. But my route is a lot different. My brain doesn't work how a normal kid's brain works. Both of us are like that. Our brains do not sit there and listen to, a 30 to 50-year-old explaining to us about, how to make money. That's not how I roll. It's not how Ali rolls.
About making money, about stupid log exponents, whatever the crap that is.
Beats me. We're against school. I'm all for people that want to choose the school route, but I'm completely business. I believe that if you work hard enough and invest your time into your own business, then you'll make a much better living than, even a doctor in a lot of cases.
And you do not need to go to business school to start a business.
No. All it takes is experience and just talking to people and just doing it, door-to-door knocking, just getting in the realm of business. But anyways, I only do OTC. I don't do high school work. And if you're a teacher watching this, that's dope. Hi, Marshall. But yeah, anyways, I don't want to do that. That's not the life that I want to be. I like to think of it as like back in Indian times, they learned how to survive. They learned how to hunt. They learned how to, make clothing and stuff. They learned how to do important stuff. But I personally do not think that school is preparing you for the real life. Me being in business, I talk to more adults than I do teenagers. And so I know a lot more about life than most high schoolers. And I know that what they teach you in high school is not at all what the real life is like. And the real life is probably about 3 times harder than they make it out to be.
School's just babysitting.
School is a babysitting clinic, but that's besides the point. If it's for you, good for you. You got the lucky genes of being a smart kid.
I had to read and write, so you know.
And so here's where M Empire got started. Around middle school time, I started M Empire, and it didn't last very long because a lot of people made fun of me for it. But at the same time, I just didn't really know what I wanted M Empire to be. I think I wanted it to be like a boxing channel or something. I don't really know. And that's why I stopped doing it, because people made fun of me for it. But I started up a new thing called Plan M, which stands for Plan Money. And that started this summer, right after I quit football. I had people telling me I was dumb for quitting sports. I had people telling me I was dumb for trying to do online school. They'd say I'd fail, which I did fail a class already.
29%.
I got a 29% geometry because I didn't do it. But, so, what was I saying?
School.
No, before that. Oh, Plan M. So, I started Plan M. It was basically a business scheme that I started like 20 businesses at one time and then hired 20 of my friends to do it for me. And we all just rise together and all get rich together. Ended up that didn't work. A lot of people aren't as motivated as me. And the ones I've picked up and collected over the past couple of months, they'll probably stick with me for a while. But yeah, a lot of kids just don't really want to work unless there's like money up front paying them. So I get it, it's up to them. So Plan M didn't really work. So whenever I started to do it was power washing, things started getting a little bit more successful. I started doing door-to-door knocking and trying to just spread the word. I'd get like one power washing gig that costs like $100.
And most people saying, nah, I can just do that myself.
Yeah.
I don't hire any fancy people.
I'd get like one power washing job every like week or so. No, not every week, every month or so. So it wasn't very successful.
It was just family.
It was just family hiring me. And around that time, it was pretty hard for me mentally because I knew that I just recently basically kind of dropped out of school, kind of not. I knew I wasn't going to be doing school. I wasn't making money, and I quit the one thing I was good at, which was sports. So I'm stuck here in my room, just not knowing what I'm supposed to be doing in life. I have a kind of failed business, but that's whenever, cool quotes off TikTok get you going. And then you kind of just fight through the dark times of not being successful, and then you just slowly keep building, and it'll build on itself.
And I have a business.
And now Allie has a business. She's going through the exact same thing right now, where it's slow. She's working on selling candles.
You should follow me on Instagram, Allie's Candles.
Mm-hmm. And forgive me for my raspy voice. I've been spray painting all day, so that's probably why. But
What does that have to do with me?
it gets in your lungs.
Are you wearing a mask?
Oh, it gets through the mask.
Exactly, they don't work.
It's true. Masks don't work.
Bigger particles and
Yeah.
whatever it is.
So, anyways, yeah, that was pretty hard for me. And then I also started Alpha Music Productions. Anyways, whenever I started it, instead of calling it Plan M, I decided to think back to my middle school times and revenge myself. And I collected M Empire again, renamed it M Empire. So that's whenever M Empire officially started, about midsummer. And then I started grinding. Finally, now, fast forward to now, I've built M Empire. Pretty decent. Do It Boys Power Washing, we've been pretty busy, and it's winter time. So I can only imagine next spring we're going to do pretty good, which is exciting. I've worked really hard for it. So as Jackson Musel, the dude that's been helping me. He's a really good employee, really good guy. And then started Alpha Music Productions. We have a bunch of speakers in my basement. Over the years, we did DJing gigs, my family did. And so I started that up again, renamed it, started my own thing. So now I own a DJing company or business. The company is M Empire, and then spreading through is the businesses.
Scratching on
I hope not. I hope it's
it.
good.
That would suck.
I hope you guys weren't scratching the whole time. Anyways, yeah. So now we're here. Oh, I also have stocks. M Empire invested in stocks. Probably can't see it, but on my watch I have a live feed of stocks. Stock market's closed right now. They open from 8:30 and close at 3 o'clock our time. But it's been a very slow process growing it to where it's at. Started the flipping business where I just buy things, make them look pretty, make them work good, and then sell them for sometimes double what I bought them for. Sometimes more. Not going to tell you exactly how much we're making from that one, but we're doing pretty good through flipping. Same with Do Boys Power Washing. And then I'm trying to build Alpha Music Productions right now. So if you need a DJ, you know where to go. And so that's kind of how I went from sports to where I'm at now. Obviously, there's been really hard days on me whenever it seems like the whole world's crushing in on you. And you probably don't care too much, but if you're starting a business or if you're transitioning into a different lifestyle, you're trying something new, switching your habits, whatever it might be, you know, it's always good to listen to these type of podcasts. And I am just a teenager, but I've talked to a lot of multimillionaires because I'm nowhere even close to that, obviously, but I want to be because I saw that log cabin, that last summer trip we had with the family, and I saw it, and that was whenever I realized I wanted to quit sports. I knew I had no chance in the NFL. I knew I had no chance going to the Olympics with track. No chance with wrestling. So realistically, instead of wasting my time...
School and being smart.
Yeah. So instead of wasting my time with sports, and it's not a waste of time, it's a really fun hobby, one of the funnest times of my life. Still have a lot of friends in those sports, and I love them all, but I knew that realistically, if I wanted to be able to afford log cabins like that in the future, that I had to get serious with it, and I had to grow up really fast. So I kind of went from a high schooler to an adult pretty fast. I'd like to consider myself pretty mature for my age. I'm only 16, but I've experienced a lot of hard times, a lot of good times, a lot of big money days, a lot of going months without even making a single dollar. So business is up and down, but all that matters is at the end of all of this, I will be able to afford a log cabin if I stick with it. And it's been a lot of fun. I've convinced a lot of people into the business side of things, like Allie.
Let's talk about my business.
Damon. We'll get to it. But that was kind of my story. I went from sports to business, and I'm where I'm at now. I'm nowhere where I want to be, but I'm 10 times greater than I was even a year ago, even 5 months ago. It's grown really fast. I now have, again, once more, the stocks, flipping business, Do Boys, Alpha Music Productions, this YouTube channel, and a couple other little things. But this is the main ones, and I hope to share these journeys along the way. I hope to spread awareness on certain topics, you know, anxieties, depressions, all those things will be future podcasts. I luckily don't suffer too badly from any of those. But obviously, being in business, there's going to be really hard days on you, and it's really hard going from having a secured somewhat life to taking a huge risk and possibly ruining your life by dropping out of school, by quitting the only things you're good at, which was for me sports, and completely doing business. So I went from making probably $100 a month to now where I'm at. I'm not going to say how much, but it's been a really fun journey. I'm not even close to finishing. I'll probably never be retired, but I hope to officially retire at 25. That's my goal. But I'll never stop really working. So hope you enjoyed it. But Allie, a beautiful girlfriend that I've been dating for 7.5 months, has started a candle business. And at the beginning, I asked her if she wanted M Empire to help her out with it. You know, I could hire someone to help her out with it. But she wanted...
I like doing stuff on my own. I don't like people taking
Yep.
over. I like taking over.
Yep. And I asked her that, and just threw it out. She'd have a one-way ticket. But she decided she wanted to do everything herself. And she's worked really hard at it. Only been going for about a month.
Can talk about it.
Yeah. Pull out your phone. You got your phone on you?
Yeah.
She's going to show you a couple candles. She's going to talk to you about it.
Okay. So my... Okay, so for the past like 3 years during COVID, well, COVID was like 2 years ago, but I don't know, but I've been really bored for the past like 2 years, so I've been thinking of like a bunch of hobbies to start, you know, because sitting on your phone watching TikTok and YouTube kind of gets boring sometimes and lazy. And yes, I am also involved in the sports. I still am. I did cross country and track. And I'm kind of debating, you know, I'm going to stay in it, but like, it's fine. I like it. I like competing, but the practices are long sometimes. They're not even long. I just like having time to do stuff. Anyway, so I wanted to start a hobby. And so every Wednesday at church we have like we have like little activities we do with our group, and we were at a planning one, and then I was like, what if we make candles? That sounds kind of fun. So my group made candles, and I kind of took charge. I've never done them before. I just had an idea in my head, like, don't look up how to do them, just nothing. I just had an idea in my head, and I'm like, you know, let's do this for our activity. So we bought some wax, got some like essential oils, and we made candles. They looked pretty crappy, but I started there. I'm like, you know, this is kind of fun. I can make some candles. So the next, like, I think it was the next day, honestly. I don't remember. For like the next week, I was thinking of names, and I'm like, you know, I could start a candle business. That might get money because, you know, candles, like Bath and Body's Works are like $25 for a candle. Mine are cheaper than that. But they make some money. Anyway, so I had been thinking for like a week, like, what should my name be? And I asking people about it, and the Marshalls was just like, go simple, go Allie's Candles. So I went, you know what, Allie's Candles. And then we made an Instagram for it. You should go check it out, follow it, you know. Anyway, so the next day I researched about what kind of supplies to use, and I went and bought supplies, and those candles turned out, I mean, they weren't the best, they weren't the worst. They're just kind of starter candles to see like how hot I want the temperature, how much oil to put in it to make it smell good, all this stuff. And then I can pull up a picture. I took a little break. I took like a month-long break of just not doing anything because I kind of ran out of like, not supplies, but smells, you know. It takes a lot of like, okay, they're called fragrant oil, and it takes a lot to make like one candle. So I'd used all of them up for my test starter candles because I'd just gotten a little bit of supplies, so I didn't have any of that, and I took a little break. And then I went to the store, and I'm like, I think I was at TJ Maxx. No, not TJ Maxx. I don't know where that came from. Hobby Lobby. And I'm like, I think they have a candle section here. So I went and checked it out. And sure enough, they had a little pack of fragrant oil. So I went and bought it. And I decided to make, I don't know if you guys can see, but oh, it's not gonna focus. I don't know. But I made this candle. It's like hot chocolate scent. And it smells really good. Looks good. And I did that for $15. I thought that was a good price. I looked around to see, I looked on websites and see how much a typical candle cost. And then I looked on, or I just did the math. Well, I didn't know, my mom did it. But the math of how much supplies I need to make one candle. And then, so I did it a little bit cheaper. And I decided to make them $15 for my normal ones. Or, no, $15 for my good looking ones. And then like $7 to $10 on my normal ones, depending the size. And I've sold a few so far. Well, this is yesterday. Okay, so a few days ago, I ordered a bunch of Christmas scents, and they're supposed to get here yesterday, but it got delayed. Now it's going to get here on Saturday, tomorrow. So I'm going to start my Christmas candles up, and I'm just going to see what different like things I can make them look like the hot chocolate one. And I'll see where it goes from that point. But yeah, that's how I started my business. And I like talking to school about people. I'm like, why get a job when you can start your business? I mean, yeah, a job like you, like working at McDonald's or something. Yeah, you can probably get like a steady income, get minimum wage for every hour you work. And yeah, like my business in March it's not steady income every single day whenever you work, but like I'd rather work for myself than having to be on someone else's schedule. Like boss calls you up, hey, I need you to work tonight, and you have to cancel your plans or not hang out with someone and have to go to work off of someone else's schedule. Like I just don't want to live like that. So I started my own business, and I'm hoping it goes good. We'll see where it goes.
Allie's Candles. DM her if you want a candle. The hot chocolate ones like she was talking about. Pretty sweet. I've never seen a candle that looked that good. And I used to have a candle obsession myself. I'd buy a lot of candles. I spent a lot of money on candles in my past.
Business stuff, like it took forever. My gosh. Anyway, and then he was kind of sketchy. You know, he went door to door knocking. You know, you get killed that way. But he went door to door knocking. Everyone said I can power wash my own, and he never got called for power washing. And now he's trying to start some stupid freaking, I don't know, a DJ business. He hasn't gotten a freaking call for that yet. And I think he's also trying to start up like a flipping business. He's not gonna get anywhere for that. I'm kidding. He texted me. You're not even recording. I know you're not. But I gotta practice. You know. He texted me when he was out in Utah. He's like, I think I'm gonna quit football. And he asked around, and then he decided to finally quit. And he told his coach. Coach took him that badly, but he realized that money's more important than sports, I guess. Like, I guess if you like sports, you like sports, but like, for his life, he wants to be successful, and unless you're really, really good at football, you're not going to get a D1 scholarship and make a bunch of money. So, he decided to quit, and he started up, he goes to OTC for, I think he's going to go for that in a second, but he wanted to make money, and school drains him, and then his mom said, oh yeah, we can get, I remember. She's like, oh, what about this online option? He's like, yes, online. Oh, I remember. He was like, online. I was there. He was like, online. He was freaked out. He was like, yeah, and online. This is like 2 days before school starts. And then, so he was going crazy about that. And then he actually, he paid people to do his homework for him, but that didn't really work out because he got caught. But he has, it's fine. It's going fine right now. Anyway, so for power washing. He's do boys power washing, and that's like raking leaves, power washing, obviously, and staining, and I think he's cutting and trimmed some bushes, right? Like,
Trim bushes, yeah.
yeah, trim bushes, and then like cleaning gutters. I don't know. I've never been to a work site.
Staining.
Yeah, I said that. But yeah, anyway, he's done a lot of jobs. He's had a few big jobs, and he got advertisement because he got like cards. Yeah, he made like little cards, like what are they called, like business cards? I don't know. And he went door to door knocking, asking people like, "Hey, do it, boys power wash." I don't know. I didn't go door to door knocking either, but it was like, "Hey, we're doing boys power washing. If you want us to power wash your driveway," and a lot of people shut him down. They were like, "Psh, I can do that myself. I don't need to do any fancy business for it." But he said some people would be like, "Oh yeah, I'll give you a call." And then, so he got some jobs that way, and just advertising online. His DJ business, he started that up a few months ago. When was it? That was like during homecoming, like a month before that. Whatever that was, I don't know, October. So yeah, he started DJ business up, and that's going well. He had one big one for homecoming night. It was like, because of COVID, they didn't have a homecoming, but they still did it just somewhere else. So Barsh was the DJ for that, and I feel like everyone there liked it better because like he's an actual teen, not a, I don't know, a person getting paid just to do that. He had like a request sheet, and people requested songs, and he just played them, and I think everyone liked that. And then he did a church dance, and a lot of people liked that. That was probably the best church dance we've had. So I've gotten a few jobs through that. Anyway, if we're putting that into school, he's realized that sometimes, money's more important than school. I mean, yeah, you could go to college and whatever. From our perspectives, we're kind of like, screw college, that thing. I mean, yeah, if you go to college, you have more job opportunities, but if you start young, you can get a high living without any college debt or anything. I don't know, you'd have to ask Marsh. I'm not good about that stuff. But my perspective was changed about 8 months ago over that. So, yeah, he just kind of said like, no school, I don't know. His brain's kind of crazy, so a lot of stuff going on in it. He'll call me up every 2 days. Hey, started this and sold this, bought this. Just starting a new project every week. And trailers and RV. Sorry, I'm a little chaotic in my brain. He had a Corvette. I don't know if we talked about this. He had a Corvette. He traded it for an RV. What was that? Did you just like win an RV? I don't even remember that.
Did I what?
Did you just like win an RV out of the blue? I don't remember.
Yes, I wanted an RV.
Yes, he wanted an RV. Also, he has trailers. He fixed up trailers. So he bought one for Do It Boys Power Washing, and then he stained that, cleaned it all up, and then he sold that the other day. I didn't even know he was doing that. He just called me. He was like, or he showed up to my house with a complete different trailer. I was like, "What's this?" And he's like, "Oh, I sold the other one, got this one." And he just fixed that one up. It looks pretty nice. And he's probably gonna sell it, just work his way up to a nice trailer for Do It Boys. And that voice crack. He traded his Corvette for an RV, and he fixed some stuff like the fuel pump. I don't remember what else. What else did you fix up?
Just cleaned it pretty good.
Cleaned it, fixed the fuel pump. Yeah, just cleaned it up.
Cleaned out the carburetor on the engine.
Made it run smoother. I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
That's what I did.
And then sold that for and then He got and the boat. Oh my gosh, he done a lot. He bought a boat for I don't know how much, but
$200.
200. Doesn't work. Hasn't been used in 10 years or whatever. But we ripped out like the whole interior of it. Ripped out the seats and everything, and tore that up. The engine needs to be replaced, so we got Marshall got, I didn't pay anything towards it, but Marshall got a cherry picker or an engine
Hoist. And an engine stand.
Oh yeah, he raced to get that engine stand. But yeah, and he's gonna fix that up, put a new engine in it, I think, and hopefully flip that, have it ready by spring. Probably missing stuff.
Red Jet.
Oh yeah, Red Jet. When he was 14, he fixed Red Jet up, his other Corvette, and then he did some wheelies in it. Not wheelies, no. Donuts in it. Not skilled enough for wheelies, but did some donuts in it with a bunch of dirt. I don't know, I wasn't there. That was like 2 years ago. But then the head gasket blew up, so that needs a new engine. So he's gonna get a something engine, I don't know what it's called. Hopefully get a new engine for it. Well, he's Marshall, so he is. But he's gonna engine swap that and hopefully fix it up.
Good job. I've been recording the whole time.
I know.
I'm gonna put it in.
I know, I saw that. That's why I did it. I would have stopped like 10 minutes ago if I didn't.
Well, that is the true ending of the podcast. Allie just kind of rambled on, and I'm gonna probably cut out a few parts where she named prices on some of the things that I've made, because I don't talk about those. I just talk about the process and making the money. But, yep, that was Allie. She was quiet the whole podcast until now. This is weird because we're filming this in the middle of the podcast, and so we're actually going to end this and then film the part you just saw before this Allie scene. And yes, this is the true ending, so thank you for watching the podcast. Hope you enjoyed Allie explaining kind of the flipping business. Also want to give a shout out to Orlando McKeldery. He was the one that's been helping me with DJing. And then Jackson Musil with power washing through Do It Boys Power Washing. Damon, who's my cousin, he's the hype man. He's the man behind the scenes that helps me with M Empire. He gives me the crazy ideas, and we go back and forth on FaceTime calls. And so I've worked pretty hard, but I'm definitely not the only one that has brought M Empire to where it is now. It's beyond me. M Empire is way bigger than me. Flipping business I do all by myself. Like she said, I flip cars, exotic cars, I flip boats, RVs, and not like flipping them over, like I fix them up and then sell them for more than I bought them for. Because I go to college for engine repair stuff, so I know quite a bit about cars, but whenever it comes to my businesses like manual labors, like Do It Boys, power washing, and DJing, I've had a lot of help with my buddies, and they've been really great guys to work with, so I'm going to give a shout out to them. If you need power washing, you know where to go. If you need DJing, you know where to go. If you need a new trailer, I guess you know where to go. And this is the end of Pod 2. Hope you enjoyed it. M Empire is crazy, and there's a lot that goes into it. It's my main company that branches out into multiple different sections, like all the little jobs we do. It's all wrapped into one little bun called M Empire, which stands for Marshall Empire, Money Empire, whatever you want to call it. I don't really care, just as long as it's M Empire. And you're going to see it grow pretty big. We're getting all new hats, all new merchandise, all new clothing for everyone involved through M Empire to watch it grow. And if you need a job, You also know where to find me. You can find me on the M Empire Instagram page or my personal Marshall McGee on Instagram. And I'm sure I could find something for you because I've been extremely busy this last week, even with having my wisdom teeth pulled and my mouth swollen. I've stayed pretty busy, and the sacrifice I've had to make to get where I'm at now is really huge, and a lot of people doubted me. Not really as a negative doubt, but more of like, yeah, you should stick with high school, you should stick with the college route. But I kind of said screw you to them because I know exactly what I want in life and I know exactly where I'm going to be. And no matter how many trials life throws at M Empire, it's always going to grow because we have a really strong team around us. Even if it's a small team filled of teenagers, it's going to grow no matter what you think. So I hope you enjoyed Pod 2. Hope you support us on the way. And we're going to shoot for podcasts every Monday. So I got 2 days to edit this and post it. So be looking for us. Hopefully I'm going to stick with the Monday posting for the podcast, and as long as I'm not too busy. Also, look out for short films coming up. There's going to be a lot of short films of highlight reels of what happens in Empire. You're going to see what it's like kind of working on the boats, short clips. You're going to see a highlight reel of the fun things.
Follow the M Empire TikTok.
M Empire TikTok as well. So we're on almost all platforms. So you know where to find us. Thank you. Bye.
And Facebook.
Nope, not Facebook.
Good boys, Facebook.